Hey guys, thank you for watching. Ivan Blasquez here. Welcome back to another video here. I wanted to make a follow-up video on the cracking the obesity code through resistance training. Now, for those who didn't see it, you can check out the card on this video, and you can see it in its entirety. By the way, guys, I know the 17 minutes may be a little bit, kind of intimidating because it's long, but check this out. For some it's long, or most I should say. If you go to the video description, I have studies, but more importantly, I have a video timeline, guys. So I actually have the subtitles for each point that's being made in that video. So you can, if you want to just go to that point and just kind of get to it. But I recommend that you watch the whole thing when you have the free time to do so, because I truly believe that I think the content on that video, I think it's going to be confirmed literally years from now, and I think I'm really kind of ahead of time with my content. If I'm wrong, there's really nothing to be lost by being wrong, because it's nothing more than an evidence-supported opinion. Anyhow, this diet we're going to talk about, this video we're going to talk about the best diet for cracking the obesity code. Without a shadow of a doubt, that's a plant-based diet. It doesn't have to be vegan, but it certainly needs to be plant-based, and I think the best way to go is following the nutritarian diet, which is Dr. Furman's approach. I think he believes that we should accrue less than 10% of our calories from animal products, although I think he's updated that to maybe 5%. But again, for those who are not going to go vegan, you certainly want to go high plant-based. That's the way to go. I remember there was this, I've heard of some people going 80% plant-based, and then the last 20% could be some animal products like eggs or some chicken or a little bit of red meat or some fish or some dairy, you name it. Now, that being said, why is a plant-based diet the best for obesity? Why is it cracking the obesity code? And this is not just for obese individuals. This is also for those who are overweight, okay? I believe because of many factors. Now, in the video on resistance training, I talked about the anabolic versus catabolic signaling. I believe that obese individuals are overly anabolic. Now, yes, they have an impaired anabolic response to exercise, but as I mentioned in that video, I believe that there's a reason for that impaired anabolic response. First off, they have impaired responses for just about everything. They have an impaired response to exercise. They have an impaired response to their ability to handle glucose, you name it. So there's that factor. The other factor is, since they're already overly anabolic at rest, our body is based on homeostasis, or in other words, being balanced, even keel. So if you do resistance training in an obese individual, now you're telling them to go from already being high anabolic to really high anabolic. The body doesn't want that. The body wants balance. The body wants to be somewhat anabolic, but not like way anabolic. And this ties into the whole idea of why some bodybuilders, many I should say, who take steroids, do it. You can only get so big naturally. And if you do get big naturally, it's either a combination or individually, it's either genetics or really hard training, which entails high-risk training. And then, of course, those are the two main things right there. And so you have that or eating abundantly and eating unhealthy foods to try and accomplish adding size. But again, steroids, people get really big on steroids because it's an unnatural thing. You're basically bringing in way more anabolic substance in your body than your body can produce. As a result, some of the counter of that is the body actually shrinks the testicles, or basically the body's ability to produce testosterone internally or endogenously is diminished. Okay, so that's why I've heard this before anecdotally. One of the bodybuilders I came across at a show, actually in 2011, he had talked about his testosterone was like way low. Once he stopped competing, and he had to go on testosterone replacement therapy. Okay, so again, guys, the whole idea of taking steroids is that you're going way anabolic. The body's it's like a pendulum. It's gonna backfire. It's gonna basically say, well, I'm getting all this testosterone from externally, so I don't need to produce it internally anymore. Okay, so that's my rationale for why obese people have an impaired anabolic response to resistance training, or exercise for that matter. Now, that's one factor. It could be other factors. Like I said, obesity in and of itself leads to impairment of various physiological responses. So a plant-based diet is going to be the way to go because it tends to be catabolic inherently. You have dilute proteins. I call them dilute because they're not as anabolic, or they don't create as much of a high rate of protein synthesis like animal-based proteins. I believe there's some health benefits to that, but also believe that, like I said in my video, plant versus animal protein for six-pack abs, I talked about how we have to earn our muscle more with plant protein because we're not getting that food spiked response from the animal protein. Now, again, there could be exceptions to the rules. Maybe older adult populations who are at high risk for sarcopenia, we may need to incorporate some animal protein. There's still a lot to be learned. I don't have all the answers, so I'm open-minded to that. But again, guys, when it comes to cracking the obesity code, a plant-based diet is going to be the way to go. It's not just the dilute proteins and plant proteins, but it's also the hormonal metabolic effect of the plant-based diet, I should say. You have many natural inherent fat-burning substances in plant-based foods. Check out the studies at the bottom of this video. There's a study that just came out in 2017, this year, that looked at whole grain versus refined grain. And they found that more calories were burned. I think the calories were actually the same. They were kept constant, isocaloric, right? So for those who are like, if it's your macros or calorie counters, we're going to say that, there's no difference between refined and whole grain just as long as calories are accounted for, right? Wrong. Look at the study at the bottom of this video. Also, check out the cards on videos I've made on why I focus on making my calories count instead of counting calories. They found that in the whole grain group, I think it was like a 90 calorie difference in terms of expenditure. There's more energy expended in the body to process the whole grains, okay? So in other words, think of it this way. If it's a refined grain, your body doesn't have to process it because it's already processed. If it's a whole grain that's unrefined, your body has to process it because it's unprocessed. Cutting edge content. You haven't heard that from any other videos. Please, guys, don't let my 7,480 subs, diminish or mitigate the power of the content that I provide. Because in terms of social influence, I know I've got to grow my channel, and that's going to happen. It's going to happen, and I'm cool with it. I'm here to help, and I just have a passion for this field. But from a scientific influence perspective, it's highly regarded. I've said this before. I've been to conferences, annual meeting with the American College of Sports Medicine, and I'm there like literally talking with some of the top experts in this field who are publishing research papers yearly at prestigious universities, and we're literally like totally on the same page with kind of our understanding and knowledge in this field. And so the scientific validation is there, guys. I'm just battling with the marketing, social influence side of it. Unfortunately, people will see that sub, the 7K, and just assume that my content is not that good. Totally not true at all. Totally not true. So if you guys want to share this video or share others, feel free to do so. You don't have to. But again, you guys know what's up. You guys know that I bring quality content. I do my best to have an open mind as well. So anyhow, a plant-based diet, guys, is the best way to go to crack the obesity code. Check out the studies at the bottom of this video that talk about how, you see, the plant-based diet is more metabolically fat-burning because of those factors, aforementioned factors I've talked about the whole grain versus refined grain. That goes with the plant versus animal protein. That also goes with the fats as well, guys. So that's all I'm going to say in this video. When it comes to cracking the obesity code, a plant-based diet is going to put an obese person in a more catabolic state. And again, we can manipulate that based on their metabolic status, okay? So it depends on their starting point, okay? I talk about this in my Cracking the Obesity Code Through Resistance Training video. Basically, my conclusion there was that concurrent training is key. And also, the ratio of resistance training to aerobic training can vary depending on the individual's responsiveness to the program as well as their metabolic status coming into the program. So as you can see, there's a science there. There's going to be not every program is going to be the same for that reason. So it's not just everyone's different, it's everyone's different, and here's why. So anyhow, guys, I plan on making another video on this series, I'm just basically making another video on this, on the last video. I want to make one on resistance training because I really do see a high value of it. I really see the benefit of it. And I think that's the beauty of having counterpoints to this. that researcher who had talked about the role of resistance training being effective for treatment of obesity. Again, I disagreed with it from a weight loss perspective, but from a health status perspective, improving the health of an obese individual, I certainly see it as being very, very plausible. And again, in conjunction with a sound plant-based diet and aerobic exercise, guys, or just movement, really, walking counts. I think that's going to be the optimal approach to really solving this obesity epidemic we have on our hands. So with that, I'd like to thank you for watching, and tune in next time. Make sure you like this video, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my blog. I actually have content on my blog that is not anywhere else. I have articles on there and recipes that are nowhere else to be found, and even personal progress pictures on my blog. So just visit it, check it out, guys, and thank you for watching.